Okay, I know I just covered Lefty and Righty on this channel in this video, link to that down below, and that showcased Lefty and Righty being awesome, and it is. But then I made my minigun video. If you haven't checked that out, you definitely should. Link to that down below as well. That featured a totally rockin' out minigun loadout, and it is insane. It's only possible because this current venture season reduces your ability cooldown with ranged weapons as a soldier. Let me show you. As a soldier, if you use a ranged weapon, every kill from that will reduce your cooldown by 4 seconds. That means if you have a 40-second cooldown and you shoot a rocket into a crowd of 10 enemies, your cooldown is gone. It is that amazing. It is a beautiful, beautiful ability. And that means that totally rocking out on Raven makes sense. With this loadout that you're seeing on screen, you have about an 80-second cooldown. That's a long time. It's unusably slow in normal missions. Oh yeah, little Ben's Warcry. It'll do a ton of damage, but it's also just way too long to wait. So in this game, you just need to get 20 kills and you're back in business. Let's just show the loadout real quick. Raven in the lead, obviously. We're exploding, doing tons of damage. Sub-wafers to activate it as soon as we can. Metal's pretty common on these maps. Battle beat is great because this was already in our loadout. In fact, the rest of the build is completely the same. We're just extending our Warcry by 3 seconds, extending our Warcry by 6 seconds, and then Pump Metal is just extending our Lefty and Righty by 10 seconds. And that's it. We're back in the game. So yeah, one thing I didn't mention from the other video until later on is actually Buccaneer Ramirez. She's not super necessary. That extra cannonball damage is kind of nice. I just wanted you guys to know that she exists. She's not essential to the build or anything, and I'm personally going to lean towards an extended Warcry, but she's something you should know about. Just wanted to mention my power level for this game because it varies depending on who's in my party. We have some reasonably leveled people in here. We're being boosted to about a power level 59. So I'm going to be queuing us in a 74-player mission just to show you that not only is this the highest mission I could queue, but this loadout is hitting way above his power level. So I actually mentioned this in my minigun video, but I found this exact same table set again. Every single smack of these metallic objects count towards your wafers. It's one hit, gets you a chance to get some wafers. I'm getting a little more unlucky this time than I did in that clip, but another thing I wanted to mention is my trash cannon. I just got this from a vending machine in between recordings. I've been using a bazooka, which is over-leveled and not something that would be accessible to you guys this early on, so a nature trash cannon is actually a great alternative. I even have decent perks on this. And if you guys are struggling to get rockets, I'm going to recommend Crackshot's Neighborhood. Link to this video down below. It's a coal farming guide. It's only available in Ventures this season, unfortunately, but that will provide you plenty of coal to fuel all of the rockets that you need. So if you're one of the lucky few like myself who's been getting lucky with rockets, that'll be a great way to keep them fueled and keep you shooting lots of explosions. All right, first clip of the video is me dying in a storm, but I don't have my Lefty and Righty available, so I can just shoot a rocket, get that back, heal up, eat a wafer, and then I'm not even going to use my Warcry. We're just going to use Lefty and Righty on its own, and we can all enjoy this damage. Look at it go! Exploding everything in front of me, knocking out the mist monsters with ease. I'm at a bit of a distance here, so the accuracy is not perfect, but just shredding everything. An entire encampment done with one rocket hit and a Lefty and Righty build, which is just crazy. Crazy, crazy. Here's a crowd of enemies that just spawned after I stopped recording. In fact, if I just eat a wafer, crowd them all up, look at that reduction. We're going from 35 up, down from 70. And then if I just kill these guys with Affliction, it's down to 17. And basically my ability is going to be back by the time I kill some more enemies. It's so nice to get that cooldown reduction. All right, one quick clip before we get the defense started. Oh, good. It's distracted by the animal. I was going to say, I am at low health and I'm hoping that Toy Rockin' Out can heal me enough. I'm not sure if that can counteract the storm, but that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to need to be a little bit careful. I'm going to step back a little bit, prioritize the nurses and anything that can shoot me from a distance because they are going to be the troublesome characters. Beehives aren't present, which is nice, and I'm already out of my abilities. So this is what we could do. Pop the wafer, pull out the rocket launcher, and the ability is not going to be back before we kill all these enemies, but you get the point. It's really, really nice. Super strong build. Let's get the defense started. Look at this dude right now. We're ready to start the mission, voting on the balloon, and he's standing up there. You guys gonna vote? Come on. Look at that. He's just gonna pickaxe it and bring it down. Well, I'm all right with that. So we should not need any traps. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save my Warcry for getting the ability back, and that was an accident. I was meant to eat the wafer, but you could see 10 eliminations to activate Battle Beat takes no time whatsoever, and I did request my teammates let me get like the bigger enemies and the early gameplay with like the encampments solo just to show this build on its own, but as you can see, 2 people is absolutely better than 1 for the loadout like this, and this is also great. So the ability's gone. This is what I'm gonna do. Pop a Warcry, pull out my rocket launcher. I know not everybody Righty has a rocket launcher, but I explained any weapon will do. It'll just be a little bit slower. That's great. I don't want to waste too many of my rockets, but that'll do just fine. Look at that, and we're back in the action. That was an 80-second cooldown, reduced to not much. Not much at all. So I love this build so much. I've been enjoying this off camera. My version of off camera is on stream, so Twitch link down below if you guys ever want to be a part of these recordings, by the way. That was at Ben's Warcry earlier in the video. But like off YouTube video on Twitch camera is just so satisfying. So nice. What's really tricky about a loadout like this is when the enemies spread out. So I can just do this, pop a Warcry. You can see they're literally spreading as I'm preparing to shoot them, which is a little unfortunate. As I had to farm all this coal, I have this appreciation for how expensive rockets are. So I'm just gonna stop there, wait 3 seconds, and we're back in the action. I like the fact that with the amount of enemies that die from lefty and righty and how long it takes to generally pull out your weapon, it's an 80-second cooldown, but we only really need to reduce maybe 70 seconds of it. Look at that. Look at that beauty. It's not a fast kill, but still, we're not reliant on any weapons. It's not necessarily true. Typically, these venture loadouts where I show off abilities, it's because I don't like to rely on weapons. The RNG in ventures is already brutal enough, and not having good weapons kind of sucks. Obviously, I'm showcasing the fact that the Xenon Bow and the rocket launcher will make this build recharge way faster, but you don't need it. It's just a little slower. Look at that. Look at that, so much damage. Oh. You know, it's funny. A lot of people might not even realize that lefty and righty can crit, but it absolutely can. And when Totally Rocking Out is active, you guys can see way more of those yellow numbers. Those yellow numbers are crits. So when I'm shooting an enemy normally, or I believe a headshot, I don't actually know if it does a headshot. Let's kind of find out together, because here's the thing. I'm coming off as uninformed here because lefty and righty kills so fast that it almost never actually matters. It's kind of crazy that that's the fact, but here, I'm going to drop a drone behind me to take care of him while I walk away. Yes, I was looking at the minimap. There are a lot of enemies right here, so let's just do that. Smasher in front of me, eat a wafer. You can see the yellow numbers are when it crits, and that is almost every single shot. Almost every single shot. And then when Totally Rocking Out fades a little, we're basically not critting hardly at all. So look at it though. Like, oh no, Totally Rocking Out's not active, and then I obliterate a crowd of enemies, activate Battle Beat, activate Totally Rocking Out in the process, and then everything just sort of dies anyway. It's beautiful. Let's just recharge that real quick. 76 down to 44. Down to 44. That was 30 seconds reduced from one shot. Like, I know that this build is a little more reliant on regular weapons than normal, but that's just sort of the nature of this season. Being able to reduce that cooldown by so much is so satisfying. And in my opinion, it's kind of nice that you're encouraged to use a weapon for a little bit. Let's just do this. Let's just do everything all at once because the enemies are sort of stacking up. So Warcry, Wafer, Totally Rocking Out's active, Battle Beat's going to keep us going. Kind of shooting at the enemies that are all grouped up just to get them taken care of first. Sort of prioritizing the propanes here as well, and that's why we didn't put any traps down. It's just not strictly necessary, especially with two of us running this build. He doesn't even have a rocket launcher. Kicking ass all the same. It's awesome. So don't have my Warcry, so we can just do this. Same deal as usual. Didn't get all the kills I wanted there, but that's probably because of the shielders. And look at that. Down to 15 seconds. I'm going to stop wasting my rockets and just kill them off with my gun. And we are just back in business, just like that. I got enough wafers to just use them, so no big deal on that. Oh, we are going to get a mini-boss in this game. So last time we got a mini-boss, it was a water mini-boss, and it was honestly unexceptional damage. We killed it with one lefty and righty, but it was less damage than I would have expected, and I'm hoping if we get a physical mini-boss, that would be great. Because even though we're critting with lefty and righty, we are still hitting for physical damage on the lefty and righty, and then we're doing energy damage on the explosions. And the explosions are only one aspect of your projectile there. So it's actually not nearly as effective versus an elemental target as it would be versus a physical. So that's definitely worth considering, and it's definitely a drawback of this build. Obviously, you have seen the approach to the lefty and righty ability is to just do overwhelming damage. Yeah, if we're not doing that much versus elemental targets, then we'll just do a ton of damage and everything dies. And that's obviously what you're seeing here. You just kind of blow up everything and it doesn't really matter. It's why I came off a little uninformed earlier. Like, does lefty and righty even crit? Like, a part of me has this sneaking suspicion that Totally Rocking Out doesn't do much. So Rock and Riff does boost your damage by 50%. That does impact abilities. So it's not gonna be nothing, but is Totally Rocking Out affecting lefty and righty, or is lefty and righty just awesome? So let's do this. Get sucked into the vortex, shoot those enemies over there. 9-second cooldown. I'm doing this a little early because I'm nervous of the mini-boss, and TJ's going on without me. I normally wouldn't appreciate that, but he's dead now, so I'm okay. And obviously he was using the same build. So this mini-boss just went down in basically one lefty and righty. Like, he died halfway through his, I died halfway through mine. This ability, in a sense, just soloed a mini-boss. Like, that's crazy. And the one thing I haven't even mentioned throughout all of this process, you guys just heard that Warcry cooling off, that reminded me that because we're spamming Warcry with this loadout, we're boosting all of our teammates as well. In fact, in my minigun video, I believe, I didn't pop a Warcry because somebody else had already done so, and that's happening the entire time. You and your teammates, if you're running this loadout together, are all just switching off, popping war cries, boosting everybody's damage, and that is a really, really great teamwork situation. Let's pop a war cry, let's eat the wafer. I noticed that we took damage, so I'm actually going to get right down into the thick of it, focus on the propanes because they can be a problem. The nurses just kind of died. I never had to focus on the nurses because they were just sort of collateral damage, which is awesome. That happens a lot in this build. The nurses just sort of die, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, the war cry boosting the teammates makes everybody stronger, so I always try to pop the war cry. There's no reason to save it. Like, you are getting such fast cooldown reduction that there's no reason to save it. What are you saving it for if you're not going to use it boosting yourself and your teammates? And again, I'm being a little loose with the rockets here, just as a YouTube demonstration. If I was just casual playing as I would normally do when I'm not broadcasting my game to thousands of people, I would save that. You know, if I've got 15 seconds left on my ability and there's nothing really banging on our walls, I don't care. But, you know, in these videos, I know a lot of newer players are definitely watching who might not even have all these heroes, so I'm trying to showcase this loadout as effectively as I can. So let's just use up all my remaining rockets, literally all of my remaining rockets, and showcase this as much as we can. Let's get that reload happening. Let's maybe get a little higher up. Focus on all of those throwing thoughts, all in one hit. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, all of them throwing projectiles at our base, dying all at once. Pop the war cry, eat the wafer. There are enemies on our builds, but I want to focus on all these girls all the way out here. Just lobbing projectiles, being annoying, throwing beehives on our feet. That's what I want to take care of. It might not be the best for the defense, but I don't mind. Look at them. They're throwing beehives at me as well. I hate it. Noir extends this by 10 seconds, which is great, but as you can see, it's just not enough. This ability does not last very long, so you gotta make use of it while you can. Let's focus on... Where's the biggest group of enemies? Where's the biggest group? And in the process of finding the biggest group, they're dying in front of me. That was a good quality hit. Okay, let's not be too wasteful. Actually, I think the mission's over, so... Yeah, amazing loadout, amazing loadout. It was already amazing before Tilly Rocket Out came in and I believe made it better, but regardless, if you guys want to try this out, definitely recommend it. You can use this throughout the season. This is not just an early game build. This will hit above its belt well into the 140s, and it'll be a great loadout to main all season. It'll encourage you to use other weapons at the same time, and you'll have a great time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. See you in the next one, and have a good rest of your day. And then